guys, welcome to ChamPanZ Percussion. If you're new to this channel, I just want to say welcome, and we're so excited to have you join us. Today, we're going to be talking about intervals. So we're going to talk about the two smallest intervals that we will have when we look at our keyboard. The two smallest intervals that we will have are a half step and a whole step. So let's start off by looking at two notes in our keyboard. We're going to find the note A and a note B. These two notes are one whole step away from each other. But if you take a closer look, you will notice that you did skip one note. And that note that we did skip is called B flat or A sharp. That note above A is a half step. The reason it's a half step is because you have to go up halfway, and then to reach your whole step, you need to take another step forward. So again, if you go to the note right above that, that's a half step. But if you go to the note right next to that, that's going to be a whole step. So as we look at our notes, you'll notice that sometimes you're going to have a note in between it. When you see a note right in between it, that's always going to be a half step. And when you have a note that skips a note that is right above it, that's going to be a whole step. So now let's take a look at another example. We're going to look at the note C. Now that we're at the note C, we're going to look at the other note D. These two notes are, again, one whole step apart from each other. If you look on top of the keyboard, you'll notice that you have a note that you skipped. That note that you skipped is going to be a half step. So your distance between C to C sharp is going to be a half step. But your distance between C to a D is going to be a whole step. Now you can also have a combination of half steps and whole steps. So now let's say that I want to find the distance of 1 step and a half above C. So let's look at this in terms of half steps. A step and a half would actually have 3 half steps. So the first half step that you would take would be C sharp, that's 1. Another half step would be D, that's 2 half steps. Now a third half step up will be your D sharp. So that would be a step and a half. So to find the interval, a step and a half from C, you would have to go all the way up to E flat or D sharp. Let's say now I want to look for 2 whole steps, but instead of going up, we're going to go down. So how many half steps do you think are going to be inside 2 whole steps? Well, we're going to have 4 half steps. So let's look at our keyboard. We're going to start at A. We're going to go down 1 half step, that will be A flat. We're going to go down another half step, that will be G. We're going to go down another half step, that will be G flat. That's 3 half steps so far. And so now if we go down another 4th half step, you will find your note, which is F. So that will be your interval of 2 whole steps, because 4 half steps equals to 2 whole steps. Now let's look at a few other notes that can look a little bit more challenging. Now let's say, for instance, we want to look at the notes E and F. So now that we have those 2 notes, we notice that those notes are right next to each other. Now the distance between E to F is going to be half a step. The reason why that's going to be half a step is because we have no note in between those notes. So just like before when we had a C to D, we had a C sharp right in between those notes. So now as you look at the notes E and F, you will notice that you don't have that note right in between those. Another interval that you can look at that's going to be similar to that one is going to be the notes B and C. Let's look at our keyboard. When you look at the notes B and C, you will notice that there is no note between those notes. So the distance that you will have between B and C is going to be a half step. Well guys, that's all I have for today. Now if you still have a few questions on how to identify the intervals of a whole step or a half step, please comment below. Now if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to keep up to date on any new videos I will be posting. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to have fun.